Madam Mother, we really thank you. We were here a few years ago when we had our cultural setup. You encouraged us, and we are here to welcome you here in Atlanta. Feel at home. She came last night, and I think she'll tell us how she has felt. So what I want to do is to honor her. We are going to clap hands, stand, welcome her. She will speak. The minute she speaks about the book and about Kenya, I'll turn it over to our two moderators to invite questions, and then we'll come later on to close. So let's all rise and give hands to our sister as she comes. Thank you for your work. Thank you for your effort. Thank you for your resilience. Thank you for your patriotism. Thank you for your love for our country. Welcome. Asante sana. God bless you. Sit down. Welcome, Mheshimiwa.
Good afternoon, everyone. Asanteni sana for welcoming me into this great community of compatriots. I was remarking today that your passion for Kenya and your passion for our culture, your pride of being Kenyans surpasses those of us at home and what we do at home. You are keeping our languages strong by teaching your children not only the languages we speak, but also imparting our culture in them. By coming together to remember Kenya, you are doing it more than we do because of nostalgia. I came in last night to a very warm welcome by Pastor Gigi, by Rebecca, and by Monica. And when I went to the home I went to, because I'm being hosted, it was so warm, I actually thought I was with my family in Kirinyaga. It really has been very warm, and that's the same warmth I continue to find among those of you who are there. Thank you for making me feel at home, away from home. And thank you for keeping together, far away from our motherland. I want to be very brief because it's been a long day. Firstly, to say, I do not need to list the problems bedeviling our country today. I know you keep in touch. I know you know the broken state of governance. You know that the Constitution is no longer being used as the operation manual. Otherwise, there would not be abductions, deaths, torture, and all things going wrong. I know you have been victims of monies you send home to buy property, and the property ending up being somebody else's title, or you end up being conned. I know that you are subsidizing healthcare when your loved ones at home have nobody else because NHIF disappeared and the SHA chief is not showing up. I know you are subsidizing education when the system has failed like it has. I know you are subsidizing livelihoods because poverty is on the rise, not on the decline. When working people are being left with so little or nothing on their pay slips that they can no longer feed their families, pay their mortgages, pay for their cars. If you look at the page where auctioneers advertise, you would think the newspaper is owned by the auctioneers. So many people are in trouble. We all pay taxes and nobody refuses to pay taxes. But one of the principles of taxation is that you cannot tax people beyond what they can reasonably bear. Taxation is not supposed to be completely extractive where it brings you down. It is a contribution to the services and to the running of your country. But when you are overtaxed and the services diminish, it becomes a big problem. When corruption becomes the norm, not the exception, and it is official corruption being practiced by those in leadership, those affiliated to them, and their cartels. There is corruption even among the ordinary people. But people give up and revert to that status when everything becomes about corruption. And I want to remind you that Kenyans have in the past helped the nation to fight corruption. If you remember when Mwai Kibaki came in, and when people believed that the country had charted a new path, policemen on roadblocks were forced by citizens to return the 50 bob, 100 bob they had been given as bribes. The Kenyatta International Conference Center was recovered by an orderly mob. I'm calling it a mob because hundreds of people entered KICC, flashed Kanu out, did not damage the building or anything, and called the Minister of Information to take over the building. Kenyans can stand and help the state to become orderly, but only when they have hope. And today the lesson here was about faith and hope. Faith comes from trust, because where there is a deficit of trust in leadership, there can be no faith or belief in them. Hope comes also from the same thing, trust, where you see indication that things can change. So when you see the ordinary person in the street subjugating themselves to corruption, that you pay that little bit to get done with it, is because they have lost trust, they have lost faith, they have no hope in what is going on. There's something we can do about it. It's not all doom. We are the ones who elect leaders, good and bad leaders. And in Kenya, they tell us when we tell them, like I announce I want to run. So when we are being interviewed in the media, you hear a caller saying, msitu ni ule ule, na nyani ni wale wale. Nikamwambia ndio, ni wale wale na msitu ni ule ule, na wananchi ni wale wale. Sababu hata wananchi hawajakuja kutoka ng'ambo. Ni wale wale wanachagua watu ambao hawafai, wakijua na wakielewa hao watu hawafai. Kwa hivyo tuseme sisi sote tumekosea kijumla, not individually. Individually you may say I didn't do it, but collectively we have done it. So can we begin conversing? Now that we are in this hole, what shall we do to stop digging and to get out of the hole? Ndivyo tuseme iko mambo hatutarudia tena. But it is unreasonable to put the entire blame on leadership alone, forgetting that it is people who put governments in place. And I want to say, you may say we deceive you during campaign. We don't. If I tell you I'll do things, and you check my history and see last time I had a position, I did the opposite, you will know that my track record is not reliable. But last elections, those of us who called for track record, I used to call for it in my speeches. Watu walisema hatutaki historia. Sisi tushaamua. Na kama mnasema mtu ni mwizi, kila mtu ni mwizi. Afadhali huyu wetu anatuletea. The question is, are you, me, are you a thief? Is everybody a thief? We all know that what we were saying is not true. Even in your village, in the neighborhood you live, bad people are known and they are few. Actually, the majority of people are average people who would like things done the right way. But those who like things done the wrong way talk so loud you would think it's the same village, it's the whole village. They suppress those with a contrary opinion, and they will fear to voice. But if I voice my stand, you echo it, another one echoes it. Just 5 people in this group, you will find more and more waking up. But if everybody who stands, the first 5, are siding with the wrong side, majority never speak again. So can we gather our courage and realize Kenya needs you. Kenya needs each one of us. Leaders cannot change a country. They can advocate, spearhead, but without the support of majority, no leader can bring change. But together we can bring change. Right now, I want to invite you to initiate conversation, not just here in Georgia. Initiate conversation with your loved ones at home, people you call, people you send support to, friends you just converse with. What is it that we shall do? And it is simple. We have an operational manual. The same way you get an operational manual when you buy a new car or a washing machine. Our operational manual to operate a corporation called Kenya is our Constitution of Kenya. If it is how to use public finances, a whole chapter. If it's on leadership, a whole chapter. If it is national values, I am not telling you to take Mother Karua values. You are also not telling me to take your values. As Kenyans, we agreed on our national values and principles of governance, Article 10 of our Constitution. Transparency, accountability, inclusiveness, social justice, equity, equality, all those things that are about your rights, my rights, our human rights, our collective prosperity. Those are our national values, and those are our values as Africans. Imagine even in our families, mothers protect the youngest. If you find your bigger child pulling the small one, and it may be the small one who started to kick the bigger one, you never ask where it started. It's wachana na mtoto. If one family member is sick and they have no money, you contribute. Even here, because there is family, your blood, and there is family, the friends and neighbors God has given you. If one of you has a misfortune, the entire Kenyan community, irrespective of where they come from, they become your family. If you have a celebration, once again, they all become your family. So we must support each other. And that is community, the value of community, and it is in the Constitution. Kenya is our larger community. You come from a family, you have a community of friends, you may consider those who speak your language your community, but Kenya is the super community of all communities. And we are together to look after each other. Article 43 talks about basic needs, that a government must facilitate the basic needs of the people. So what would we do differently? For instance, because I'm asking for that chance, a Karua administration would use the operational manual. It means that you ensure there is accessible education, accessible health, you make sure that there is housing, and if there is no housing, because it will not take a day to build houses, you will ensure there is some social support. And for there to be housing, you don't need to give your cronies and cartels the work of building houses. And by the way, that work does not belong to national government. It's to county governments. Hata samani sini council. The county governments are doing what the council used to. You cannot have a national government giving tenders for houses in counties. It's not their work. Pure corruption. And that's why they end up being expensive beyond. And then you cannot say you're building houses for people when you are actually destroying the houses people have and leaving them destitute. And do you know whose houses are being destroyed? The poor. Some are retirees who bought land and have titles. They have no other money they are looking forward to. Imagine what happens when that person's house is destroyed. Some get sick, some die. Children are sleeping outside. They are left destitute. And it's mass demolition without any notice and without alternative. Because where a government demolishes for development, the rules, even international law and our constitution, you must find alternative means for those people. Because when there is a humanitarian crisis, Who is supposed to settle the people if floods come? The government. So you cannot create a humanitarian crisis in the name of development. You cannot force people to contribute to housing. It should be voluntary. There are people who will never need your housing. They are already in their own housing. Those who will never afford, you cannot force. So there are so many things, and we can change them. All of you here, and I'm very glad that you get to tell me which family, because I know all the families. But imagine you all come from wards. Kemunya is in Kabare ward of Kirinyaga, Geshugu. We have 20 wards in Kirinyaga. You come from a county, but beyond a county, your links are with a ward in Kenya. What if all of us started conversation in our wards? How shall we elect the next leadership? What shall we be looking for? When you want a driver, you ask them for their license first, because you want to know whether they are qualified to drive. You then ask, have you had accidents? You want to know their history of driving. If a guy tells you, or a lady, I've written off 3 new cars in the last 3 months, would you continue with that conversation? Imagine we take leave of our senses for political positions, because if my history shows I cannot be trusted with public issues, ni kama kukuambia I've written off 3 cars, and you are clapping and hugging the person and telling them pass, and you do not want to interview any other. Let us own our collective destiny. Let us agree that we will exercise the same prudence we exercise when it is your personal issue. Collective issues are more dear than personal issues. When they go wrong, they punish many. They punish the vulnerable. Do you know Shashif is causing death? Do you know people are hungry? Insecurity is causing death. Violation of rights is causing death. Can you see how serious that interview for a public position should be? And public position is not just the presidency. Your MCA and your governor make your county government. And most issues, including health, are for your county government. So let us not underrate election of that MCA, governor, member of parliament, women rep, senator, and finally, president. Let's take all 6 elections seriously, and let's be ambassadors to mobilize. And you can do so digitally. We've already been shown by the Gen Z that digital rallies are bigger than physical rallies. If this is online, perhaps we are having more people online than those present here, although I'm really very happy with this turnout. But I'm sure if it's digital, there is more presence digitally. So please, Kenya needs each one of us, and you can do so much more. Imagine you can mobilize 10, 100 votes in Kenya while seated here. Imagine those votes can have a ripple effect, and you and a friend can change your ward. And if several other people are doing the same, you can change a county. And if other people are doing so in their counties, in 47 counties, we can change Kenya. Change will come a ward at a time. And within the ward, a polling station at a time. Then a county at a time. Then the entire Kenya together. Do not worry how we will do it. I want to very quickly talk about the role of money in politics. We need money for logistics, for sure. But we do not need obscene sums of money to dish out to voters. Even when we dish out money, only very few get that money. But those few then drum the support of their whatever so much, it fills the air and people are influenced. Imagine you have influence you can use. And between now and this time next year, we will have conversed with Kenya that this time, in order to get out of this cycle, we must elect with our minds and our hearts not, our stomach. You may not be able to stop a hungry person from taking a 50 bob or a 100 shillings note. But if we have hardened their resolve, they will take, knowing perhaps it's corrupt proceeds of their money, but they still will not vote for that person, the way they used to do during the KANU era. Why am I saying we have only 1 year and elections are in 2027? Because the window for reasonable conversation is 1 year. By next year, the fever for election will start rising. And we will reach the time when we become hard of hearing. When we cannot have a conversation, it's a shouting match. There's so much you can do. Mobilizing support, mobilizing resources, those necessary resources. And this you can do by supporting a candidate or candidates of your choice, supporting a political party of your choice. The party I lead has been rebranded. It is the People's Liberation Party of Kenya. Our slogan is Unite, Liberate, because we are so aware that we need unity of purpose in order to liberate ourselves. But there are many parties. If PLP does not attract you, kindly join any other party of your choice. Let us advocate for good governance. Be a digital warrior. Even call, be a voice warrior, because you can call through WhatsApp, you can have conversations. There's so much more we can do. Mobilize here, mobilize out there. And I know you have issues of additional voting stations as diaspora. We will join you in calling for that. You do not need any additional legislation. Even the 3 that are there, hakuna bill ilipelekwa parliament. It was administrative action. We need quick administrative action for more polling stations based on demographics. We need to see services come to the diaspora where they are. Nothing stops the ambassador sitting in Washington from choosing a period in summer where they go 1 week to each of the states with a heavy population of Kenyans. It is possible to bring services to you. We want to encourage you to demand, not to request, to demand for services. You are the #1 foreign exchange earner. Last year alone, 641 billion. The total number of, money the Kenya government last year gave to the 47 counties for their running was 341 billion. It pales when compared to your total. For development in the 47 counties, which is Kenya, apparently 109 billion. You are a very significant force. We want to encourage you to leverage your financial clout and to say no taxation without representation. Please let your voices be heard. We in Kenya undertake, and I personally undertake, to help amplify your voices. As I wind up the political talk and then 2 minutes of the tide, I want to say this, that in Kenya, just like here, we Kenyans have this Harambee spirit. When we want something done, we get together. When you want a road which is impassable, Kenyans get together in the absence of official services, and they can even build a bridge. Like I know Membly Estate built a bridge recently because it had collapsed and the state has taken too long. And I know up country, I see women and men carrying stones to put at an impassable point of the road. Water projects, electricity projects, people contribute. People have even built schools. I just want to tell you, there's only one project we ignore. Siasa ni muradi. Chama ya siasa ni muradi, and a candidate stepping up, hiyo ni muradi yako. Why? You're looking for better governance. And politics is life. It determines the services you get, even your security. Tuchukue siasa vyama vya siasa na siasa kama muradi. If you leave me to get money alone, I'll probably concentrate on filling my bag when I get there. But if I'm your muradi, you will hold me to account. I will owe it to you. And we will be stopping cartels from funding candidates to then demand their drop of blood when we get there. Kindly let us tell our people. Uchaguzi ni muradi wa kuboresha nini? Nchi. Asanteni.